So, you've named your fracture, you've spotted your loop. Maybe you're the strategic withdrawer or the mirror punisher. You see the pattern. But here's the frustrating part. You can see the loop. You can feel yourself starting to flee, fight, freeze, or fawn. And sometimes you still get pulled in. Why? Because there's a hidden story running in the background. A story so automatic, you don't even know you're telling it. And that story is the bridge between a simple mistake and a total motivation collapse. This isn't about willpower. It's about a two-part narrative collapse. The pressure of who you think you should be and the catastrophic story you tell when you fail. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the three versions of you that live in your mind. This is called Self-Discrepancy Theory. Your actual self, who you are right now, today, maybe a bit tired, maybe you skipped the workout, maybe you ate the cookie. Your ideal self, who you feel you could be, your dreams, your goals, the fit and disciplined, successful version of you. This is about your hopes and aspirations. And your ought self, who you feel you should be. This is about duty, obligation, and responsibilities. The shoulds. I should be more disciplined. I should have this figured out by now. Motivation breaks between the gaps, between the selves. When your actual self doesn't match your ideal self, you feel disappointment, sadness, and frustration. I wish I was better. But when your actual self doesn't match your ought self, that's where you feel shame, guilt, and anxiety. I'm failing at who I'm supposed to be. Now, if we remember our fractures, let's start with the autonomy fracture. This happens when your plan rigidifies your ideal into an ought, making success feel like an obligation you didn't choose. We have the competence fracture. This is the painful gap between your actual self and your ideal self, leading to disappointment about what you could be. And the worth fracture. The gap between your actual self and your ought self. It ignites shame and guilt because the failure feels like a moral problem. I'm a failure for not being who I should. Okay, so the gap exists. But what turns that gap into a full-blown nervous system meltdown? This is where appraisal theory comes in. It's the mental filter that decides what any event means. When you miss a workout or eat off plan, your brain doesn't just react. It tells a story in two lightning fast steps. The first step, your brain asks, does this matter to me? Is this a threat? Missing a workout becomes a threat because of the gap between your actual self and your ought self. And then your brain asks, what can I do about it? Do I have the resources to cope? This is the critical moment. The story you tell in that secondary appraisal dictates everything. The sabotage story, I failed. This proves I'm not disciplined. I can't handle this. It's all over. This story feels true and it triggers the 4F responses. Flight, I'll quit. Fight, I'll punish myself. Freeze, I'll overthink. Or fawn, I need someone else to fix me. And then you have the resilience story. I missed one workout and that's a data point, not a destiny. It doesn't feel good, but I can get back on track tomorrow. This story leads to adaptation, not collapse. So let's make this real. Let's follow someone I'll call Alex through the entire sabotage engine. Alex has a powerful should be story. I should be perfect. I should have total willpower. This is the preloaded gun, the gap waiting to become pain. Let's say Alex has had a long and stressful day. On the way home, they eat a cookie they didn't plan for. A simple but human moment. Instantly, Alex's brain sounds the alarm. It doesn't see a cookie, it sees a threat. It asks, does this matter? And because of the I should be perfect story, the answer is a screaming yes. This is a direct threat to my identity. Now, the brain looks for what to do. It asks, can I handle this? And with the perfect story dominating, the answer is no. I have no willpower. I've blown it. The whole day is ruined. It's all over. That's the sabotage story. That it's all over story is now an alarm for the nervous system. It doesn't trigger a thought, it triggers a reaction. In Alex's case, it's flight. The body screams, get me out of here. So Alex thinks, screw it, I'll start again Monday. And then he goes home, orders a pizza, and abandons the plan entirely. And here's the final cruel twist. The next day, Alex feels awful. The shame is overwhelming, and what's the story now? I knew it. I'm a failure. I can't stick to anything. The gap between who I am and who I should be is real. The loop didn't just happen. It proved the original toxic story right. So the discrepancy is the gun. The appraisal is the trigger, and the 4F loop is the bullet. You aren't just reacting to a missed workout or eating a random cookie. You're reacting to the story that it means you're not who you should be. So how do you break this? You don't just try to think positive. You challenge the appraisal. You rewrite the story. The next time you feel that pull into a loop, I want you to ask 2 questions. For the primary appraisal, is this truly a threat to my survival or just to a story I'm telling myself? And I'll give you a spoiler right now, it's usually the story. For the secondary appraisal, what's a more compassionate and accurate story I can tell here? Instead of, I failed, therefore I have no discipline, try, I made a choice that doesn't align with my goals right now. I'm human, but what can I learn from this moving forward? You're not ignoring the mistake. You're changing its meaning from an identity level threat to a tactical learning moment. Now, this is deep work. It's not about a new diet plan. It's about rewriting the operating system underneath. And the best way to do that is with a deliberate practice. That's why I've created a simple 1-page tool called the Dual Loop Conditioning tool. It walks you through the exact steps to catch your self-discrepancy. Is this my should be self attacking my actual self? Challenge your appraisal. Is the story I'm telling myself really true? And then rewrite the narrative from a place of your ideal self and taking a tiny immediate action to lock in that new identity. It's the practical drill for everything we've just talked about, and it's free for you for the next week. The link is in the description. But knowing this still leaves one burning question. Why does this loop feel so automatic, so addictive? Why does your body seem to choose this familiar cycle of self-sabotage almost without your consent? It's because it's been deeply chemically trained to do so. You see, every time you run this full cycle from the self-discrepancy to the appraisal and into the 4F reaction, your brain gets a powerful reward. The negative emotional tension is released. Quitting, flight, relieves the anxiety. Punishing yourself, fight, satisfies the urge for justice. This entire psychological machine functions as a perfect operant conditioning chamber. Your brain learns this path, this loop is the fastest way to make that bad feeling stop. In the next video, we're exposing the final layer, the science of reinforcement. It'll show you exactly how to rewire your body's reward system so your brain stops choosing sabotage and starts actively choosing the path of progress. This is how you break the loop for good. Don't miss it.